First of all, thank you, Jessica. When you said your win, what went through my mind is, Jessica, you are a win. If you know a smidgen of what this woman does in her life, you are so inspiring to me. You are a total win all the time. And I'm sure that's true for everybody here. I just happen to know a little bit more about Jessica because I've known her for a while. And I thank you so much for this opportunity. It's such a gift. And thank you to all my fellow speakers and all of you who came here and showed up tonight for a topic that obviously said, I'm going to stretch you. You know, I'm gonna mess with your boundaries a little, or your ideas, your rules for yourself. I mean, that's what the topic said, and you all showed up. So that says a lot about all of you. So Jessica had me save my win for now, which is actually useful and good. Thank you for that. Because I will mention what it is that's really touched me and gone really well recently with my business. My business is called Productive Slumber. And if that sounds funny, it's kind of meant to. It's, well, one thing I do is I work with people who feel discouraged and despairing after seeing a doctor and often getting a diagnosis, and I work with them to connect to their inner knowing about their bodies and their health. But the meaning of Productive Slumber is that I teach classes, and I also do one-on-one dream work, and the classes I teach are to help people use their dreams to receive guidance and healing. And my win is that after spending some time away from, I loved your idea of group sessions, of spending some time away from group sessions and workshops and group work, I heard from a former student, someone who took my dream class, and she asked if she could do it again, or when was I starting up again. So I started calling people who'd taken my class. This was about 5 weeks ago. And I kept expecting to hear no, and I kept hearing yes after yes. And even the people I waited to call because I was sure they were gonna, you know, say something nice, but be thinking, get off the phone with me, they all said yes, and it blew my mind. And we just finished 5 weeks, and we're starting on our 6th week, and it was going to be a 6-week session, and we're going to continue, I think, ad infinitum, forevermore, if the Mayan calendar allows, which it will. Let me let you in on something. So the first part of my talk seems to me like it might take us up into our heads, but hopefully we'll get to the second part, which is like very embodied, and I'm going to bring the touchy and the feely for the second part. Not only is the material that shows up in our dreams taboo, often, which we're aware of because we dream every night and we do some freaky things in our dreams and some freaky things appear. I won't mention particulars, but not only is that the case, but our dreams themselves in our culture and attending to them and taking them seriously is in and of itself taboo, which means that a very important part of each and every one of us is taboo. Almost the core of our being in our culture is taboo. And well, I guess my first, the first thing I want to give you is my definition of what dreams are, which I thank you for asking me to give this talk because I've never defined this before for myself. But dreams are our higher self's communication with us. And by our higher self, I mean the aspect and part of ourself that extends beyond our bodies. And it's the part of ourself that isn't limited to our bodies, and that actually therefore isn't limited by space and time the way, you know, we're taught in school, and we all kind of assume until we realize otherwise that we're not limited by space and time. And and it also corresponds, some of you might be familiar with Elizabeth Mayer's book, Extraordinary Knowing. So what I'm talking about is a kind of unusual and extraordinary knowing that moves beyond what we can explain just with bodily perception and logic. And that extraordinary knowing, that idea that we can know about things that don't seem to make sense for us to know, things that happen far from us or that are going to happen tomorrow or 2 years down the line, that idea is taboo in our culture. And there are well, it's taboo for religion, because if that were the case, if we all were extraordinary knowers, then we would all be prophets. And where would that leave? Where would that leave a lot or most religion if every single person was a prophet? And it's taboo for science because science is really uncomfortable with the paranormal, or what they label the paranormal. And it's ironic to say that science has a taboo, because science ideally should be totally reason-based. But there really is an irrational aversion on the part of many scientists in many scientific fields. And I can give examples of journal articles that are accepted and run, but then suppressed on the internet, and a lot of biases show up in the sciences. And what's interesting is that science tells us why that's the case, because studies have been done that show that the way our brains process a change in our worldview is the same way, in the same intensity, in the same degree, in the same part of the brain that processes a threat to our very life. It's the same thing, and you can see that with this taboo in the sciences.